Shalom, shalom. Shabbat shalom. This is Following Yeshua.
And Sister T.
And we are going to continue on part two of our putting away versus divorce. In part one, we talked about, can a woman divorce her husband? We answered that question. I'll post the link in the description. Part two is we're going to talk about the difference between putting away and divorce. And this has to go in line with what Matthew chapter 19 says. Because a lot of people read that chapter and they say, oh, see, you can't get divorced because if you go and remarry, you're an adulterer. And this is where having a firm grasp of the law is. If you try to read the Bible without having an understanding of the law and the prophets, you will be confused. You will think that Yeshua is changing the law. You will think that Paul is speaking against the law, when in actuality, they aren't. So you have to have a firm grasp of the Torah when you're coming into reading what Yeshua's words are, because you'll read them and say, see, you can get divorced, or you can't. If you divorce me, you can't get remarried. You can't get remarried, and that's not what the Bible says. There are two words, putting away and divorce, that we're going to talk about in this video to show the difference. And we're going to then in our next video, we're going to continue to build on that until I address Matthew 19 in its entirety in regards to marriage, divorce, adultery, what Yeshua is actually talking about. Because he's not saying what a lot of your Christian pastors are telling you. He's not saying it. He's not saying, oh, woman, if you get divorced, you can't get remarried. Because that is completely contrary to what the law says. So let's get started. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 24, verse 1. We're going to read it in the King James Version. And it says, when a man hath taken a wife and married her, and it come to pass that she find no favor in his eyes, because he hath found some uncleanliness in her, then let him write her a bill of divorce and put it in her hand and send her out of his house. And when she has departed out of his house, she may go and be another man's wife. That goes completely contrary to Matthew 19. Wouldn't you say that?
Yes.
Because people say Matthew 19, oh, that's adultery. We just read in the law that she can go and be another man's wife once she has gotten a bill of divorce and been sent out of the house. Now, let's go to Matthew chapter 19. Can you open Matthew chapter 19?
Yes.
And people have to have a full understanding of Matthew 19. Matthew 19, when the Pharisees are talking to Yeshua, first you have to realize they're tempting Yeshua. They're not asking him outright questions. They are tempting him in the hope that they can trip him up. Yeshua was just one step ahead of them. Let me see. I got some notes right here. Verse 3.
Okay.
So let's go there. Because the argument is about putting away and divorce. And King James and even the Scriptures versions did a good job of confusing the two words. And people believe that putting away and divorce are the same thing, and they're not. Go ahead and read verse 3.
Okay. The Pharisees also came unto him, tempting him.
Tempting him. So the first thing you have to understand when you're reading Matthew 19 is they are tempting him. They're not asking him outright questions. Yeshua just knew what they were doing. But we're not going to talk about that right now because that's part of the other video that I'll be doing. But continue.
Tempting him, and saying unto him, is it lawful for a man to put away his wife for every cause?
Put away for every cause. So most people take that as divorce. Is it okay to divorce his wife for every cause? That's not what he's saying. That's not what the Pharisees are saying. See, the Pharisees knew the law. And the Pharisees knew it takes two things to equal divorce. Sending out of the house and a bill of divorce. Now, look up what the word putting away is. I believe it's Greek 630. Put away, Greek 630. So, Greek 630, put away. It means to set free, to let go, dismiss. This is the Thayer's definition. To let go, let them go free, to release them. Now, here's the definition that you need to be interested in. Definition 4 says, used of divorce, listen to the terminology, used of divorce, not it is divorce. To dismiss from the house. So putting away is to dismiss from the house, to repudiate. And we went over this same word in our last video where it then says the wife of a Greek or Roman may divorce her husband. The next verse, definition 5 says to send one's self away, to depart. So used of divorce, it says to dismiss from the house. Now let's go back to Deuteronomy 24 again. When a man hath taken a wife and married her, and it come to pass that she find no favor in his eyes, because he hath found some manner of uncleanness in her, then let him write her a bill of divorce or divorcement, and give it in her hand, and what? Send her out of his house. That's putting away. Putting away is when you send the woman out of your house without a bill of divorce. And if you want to know the importance of that, we will continue. Because biblically now, you cannot put away a woman without divorcing her. But you can, oh, scratch that, reverse it. You can put away a woman without divorcing her, but you can't divorce a woman without putting her away. Once again, you can divorce a woman. You can't divorce a woman without putting her away, but you can put away a woman without divorcing her.
Yes.
So now let's get into the depth of it. The bill of divorce, which is talked about. Go down to verse 6. Because after Yeshua gave an answer, the Pharisees came back. Verse 7. They came back with another question. Read verse 7. And now, we're not going to go too far into this, but listen to what the Pharisees added in. Because they're trying to trap up Yeshua in his words. Go ahead.
They say unto him, why did Moses then command to give a writing of divorcement and put her away?
See, now they're talking about actual divorce. See, the first time they're talking about putting away. Now they're talking about actual divorce. So what is the importance of the bill of divorce? Example. If me and Sister T are married, and I say, I'm sick and tired of you. Get out of my house. Get out of here. I'm done with you. I'm sick and tired of this mess. Hurry up. You're not walking fast enough. Go. Okay. Okay. So if that happens, are we divorced?
No, Master.
No, we're not divorced. Because I didn't give her a bill of divorce. Here's the bill. I didn't put it in her hand. So if I send her out of my house and she's still married, and another man comes by while she's walking away and says, whoa, Sister T, hello. I want to marry you. Mind you, she's not divorced. She's just put away. If she says, yes, I want to marry you, and I go and take her as my wife and go into her, let's say my name is John now. John takes her and goes into her, or Christopher. It's Chris and Christopher. Chris sent her away, didn't want her no more, put her out of his house, put her away. Christopher looks at her and says, oh, yeah, I want to marry her. And he marries her. Chris lawfully, based on the Torah, has a right to then come by and say, oh, whoa, you're an adultery. You're my wife. Now, how can he say that? Because of what?
He didn't put a bill of divorce.
He didn't give her a bill of divorce. The bill of divorce plus the putting away equals divorce. Without this, she's not divorced. Because if we then go before the elders and the elders ask me, are y'all divorced? And I say, no. And she says, yes. The question then comes, where's the proof? Where's the proof you're divorced?
I wouldn't have any.
She would have no proof that she's divorced. Oh, well, he sent me out of his house. He kicked me out. It doesn't mean you're divorced. We need proof. Now, is that biblical, we ask? Let's go to the Word to see what the Word says. Deuteronomy chapter 17, verse 6. King James Version, Deuteronomy 17:6 says, at the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses shall he that is worthy of death be put to death. But at the mouth of 1 witness he shall not be put to death. All right, we're talking about death. We're talking about witnesses. Deuteronomy 19:15 says, 1 witness shall not rise up against a man for any iniquity or for any sin. In any sin that he sinneth, at the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, or at the mouth of 3 witnesses, shall the matter be established. Her matter can't be established because where's her witnesses? Witness number 1 is who?
Myself.
Herself. She could say she's divorced. The importance of this bill of divorce is because the bill of divorce is witness number 2. She needs this bill to be a witness that she is divorced. She needs it. Without this bill, the only other witness she has is herself. That's it. This will save her from committing adultery. This will save her from any accusation that, no, I didn't divorce you. Because if I do what the Bible says, and she demands what the Bible says, and I put this bill of divorce in her hand, and now Christopher comes by and sees her and says, hey, I'm interested in you. Hey, I like what I see. I'm happy moving on this one, you know what I'm saying, brethren? Pound it. If that happens, if he makes the move on her, but then Chris comes by and says, no, she's my wife. No, you commit adultery. Who's the first witness?
Myself.
Herself. Hold on 1 second. All right, we're back. Sorry for that little screw up. So she's the first witness. The second witness is now what? My own writing, my own signature that signifies that I not only put her away, but give her a bill of divorce and sent her out of my house, which means she's now divorced. She can now go and be another man's wife. So for some of you who have the ears to hear, you may be hearing how this links up now with Matthew 19, what Yeshua was really saying, if you have the ears to hear. So that bill of divorce saves her. That's why there was a requirement for her to have a bill of divorce, because at that time it was practiced where men would send their wife away, put her way out of his house, get rid of her, and then if she wanted to get married, go in, no, you're still married to me. But see, by putting her away, though, he feels like he doesn't have the financial or the biblical requirement to care for her anymore. He doesn't have to provide her anymore. Food, clothing, and conjugal rights. But she's still bound by the law to that man. She cannot go and become another man's wife. Because at the moment she does, what does she do? Let's go to Leviticus 20, verse 10. And the man that committeth adultery with another man's wife, even he that committeth adultery with his neighbor's wife, the adulterer and the adulteress shall be put to death. That's important for the next video, Matthew 19. That's very important. When a man and a woman committed adultery, sex with a married woman, they were both guilty of death, physical death. So if I wanted her to die, I send her out of my house without a bill of divorce. She goes and marries somebody else. I come back and say, I got you now. I got you. And men would do that. Or they would send her out of his house knowing she can't go anywhere. She's stuck. She ain't going to go nowhere because she can't get married. See what we're getting at here. So putting away is, you know what? We ain't working, get out of my house. That's putting away. She is still biblically married to me. That even though she walked out of my house, she is still biblically married. All right, babe, come here. She is still biblically married to me. I put her away, but I did not divorce her. Divorce is, here is your second witness. My own writing. First witness, second witness. My own writing, witness. Her witness. Out of the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses. 2 or 3. Let's go a couple more verses about witnesses. How important are witnesses to a matter? Matthew 18:6. This is why that bill of divorce was so important. And today people don't do that. This, get out of my house. I don't want you here no more. She wanders off and thinks that she's free and goes and gets with another man and then is committing adultery because he never gave her a bill of divorce. Which is exactly why in Matthew it kind of says something along the lines of he's guilty of adultery too for putting her away. Because he knows that she's going to go out there and commit adultery when she goes and gets with another man. So he's guilty of that adultery also. But we'll touch that in another video. Matthew chapter 18, verse 6. Did I say 18:6? 18:16, excuse me. But if he will not hear thee, then take with thee 1 or 2 more. So if I'm taking 1 more or 2 more, that means it's now 2 or 3 of us. That in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, every word may be established. Still not convinced? 2 Corinthians 13:1. This is the 3rd time I am coming to you, says Paul. In the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, every word be established. Still not convinced? 1 Timothy 5:19. Against an elder, receive not an accusation, but before 2 or 3 witnesses. You starting to see this now? You starting to see these precepts? One more time. Okay, you need 1 more because you're still not convinced yet, right? All right. Hebrews 10:28. He that despised Moses' law died without mercy under 2 or 3 witnesses. Do you see the importance of witnesses now? Do you see why this bill of divorce is so important? Because it's a witness against the man that he sent her from his house. He no longer wants her. She can now go and be another man's wife. It is not adultery. Well, following Yahshua, Yah says that he hates divorce. Really? Let's go to Malachi 2:16, see what it says. See, and here's where confusion comes up, because the scriptures version interprets it different than the King James version. But the King James version actually has it right. The scriptures version is interpreted wrong. And to know that, you have to look back a couple verses. But we're gonna go there. Just to, you know what I mean, right? Just to do all that. Malachi 2:16 says, For it says, For Yahweh, the Yah of Israel, said that he hateth putting away. For one covereth violence. Can you go to Malachi 2:16 in there so we can go look it up, the words? He is putting away. For one covereth violence with his garment, saith Yahweh of hosts. Therefore take heed to your spirit, that ye deal not treacherously. Well, treacherously, we're going to look up that word too. 2:16. Let's go back 2 verses, because divorce is not dealing treacherously with your wife, is it? Let's look at treacherously. Treacherously, Hebrews 8:98. To act treacherously, deceitfully, to deal treacherously. So you're deceiving her. To act or deal treacherously, faithlessly, deceitfully, or to offend. And then the Strong says to deal deceitfully, untreacherously, unfaithfully, offend, transgress. So we're talking about some deceit, some deception here. It is deceitful if you send your wife out of your house knowing that she's not technically divorced, because these men knew the law. They knew that what they were doing when they did this. They knew it. They knew what they were doing. So let's go back a couple of verses, starting at verse 14. Yet ye say, wherefore? Because Yahweh hath been witness between thee and thy wife of thy youth, against whom thou hast dealt treacherously. Yet is she thy companion and the wife of thy covenant. So even though they're dealing treacherously with them, she is still a wife of your covenant. If they were divorced, she wouldn't be the wife anymore. She'd be a single woman. And did not he make one, yet had he the residue of the Spirit. And wherefore one, that he might seek a godly seed. Therefore take heed to your spirit, and let none deal treacherously with the wife of thy youth. The wife of youth is usually your first wife and the first one you marry. And today, the first one you marry in the faith, that is the wife of your youth. You don't have to deal treacherously with her. Divorcing somebody is not treacherous because you're not deceiving them. You're saying, we're done, get out of my house. Here's your bill of divorce, go. That's not treacherously. She can now lawfully go be another man's wife. There's nothing treacherously about that. There's no deception whatsoever.
It's concrete.
It's concrete. It is very concrete. Say that again.
It's concrete.
It's concrete. Us as Hebrews and Israelites, we are a concrete people. But we came into this country and we've adopted the ways of this culture. Now we're abstract. So to deal treacherously is to be deceitful. So for me to deceitfully deal with her, get out of my house. And I know the whole time she can't go get remarried. And if she does, if another man looks at her, if another man takes her, I'm going to come by and be like, you adulterer, you adulteress, you're caught in the act. That's death to both of you. That's treacherously. Come on, baby. That's treacherously. Now, the scriptures says that you're not to put away your wife. You're not to divorce your wife. But the King James actually has put away, putting away. That's doing treacherously. So Yahweh hates the putting away. He hates when you deal treacherously with her. He hates when you do these things because Yah gave the children of Israel a divorce, right?
Yes.
He gave them a bill of divorce too. And he put us away. He fully divorced us. He put us away and gave us a bill of divorce if we were divorced. He didn't just say, you're not my people anymore. He said, here's a bill of divorce too to prove it. So you can now go to the gods whom you were already serving, and you can serve them, and you can be obedient to them. They can be your covering. They can be your husband. That's why it's important to understand the difference between putting away and divorce. Because divorce is the whole act, like Deuteronomy 21 says, Deuteronomy 24:1 says, it's the whole act of giving her a bill of divorce, sending her out of your house. That's divorce. At the point in time you give her a bill of divorce, let's say you give her a bill of divorce, is she still staying in your house? Is that divorce?
No,
that is not divorce. If you give her a bill of divorce, fine, here, because men be playing these games. Get out of my house, knowing that she stole his wife. Or, here's your bill of divorce. Ask when you have to leave.
When do I have to leave your
I
house?
don't care. You can stay in another bedroom. Man, I'm sick and tired of you. We're not divorced. She has a bill of divorce, but she has not been sent out of the house. And what does the requirement say in verse 2? Let's go there one more time again. Deuteronomy 24, verse 1 and 2. Verse 2 says, and when she is departed out of his house, she may go and be another man's wife. Woman, while you are still in his house, you are still being covered by him. You are still in his house. So no, just because you get a bill of divorce does not mean, oh, we're divorced now. You've got to be out of his house. That's when you can go be another man's wife. But see, we got so much adultery being practiced because men aren't doing what the Bible says, and women don't know what the Bible says pertains to divorce. So they think when they get sent out of the house, like, okay, well, I'm divorced now. No, you're not divorced because he didn't give you a bill. The second witness is the bill. The bill is so important, and the Pharisees knew that. That's why in Matthew 19:7, they changed the question and asked about the bill of divorce meant and the putting away. While in verse 3, they just asked about putting away. There's a big key. And when you understand that the Pharisees were trying to tempt Yeshua, you'll have an understanding of why Yeshua answered the way he did. Because Leviticus, was it 2010? I believe it was 2010. Leviticus 2010, where we read what the punishment, yes, 2010, the punishment of adultery, there's your key to understanding Matthew 19. Understanding Deuteronomy 24:1, there's the key. So, is Yeshua going against the Torah? No. And we're going to prove it in the next video. We talk about this, which will be next Sabbath. I want you to look behind what I'm saying. Look behind the words. Look behind them. Read Matthew 19 for yourself. Start to understand that the punishment of adultery is death. Here's the key. So if a man, according to Torah, if a man caught his wife in adultery, would he have to divorce her? Would he?
In today's time?
No, back then.
Well, she's already divorced at that point. She's
If
she's
a
done.
if a
She's
woman
die.
if a woman committed adultery, there is no more marriage covenant because the punishment for that adultery was death.
She's not gonna go be anybody's
She
wife
can't
because
be
she's
anybody's
dead.
wife. There's the key. She'd be dead. So you have to understand how Yeshua was answering this question and not how the Christian church comes and tells us. You can't get divorced. Or if you get divorced, you can't be nobody else's wife. Otherwise, you commit adultery. You commit adultery. You commit adultery. That's what people say. But Yeshua was not going against the law because he knew the difference between putting away and divorce. We don't know that today. We always think that when a woman is out of the house that she's divorced. Technically, she's just separated. That's all she is. Is separated.
Today's time.
Yeah, in today's modern terms, all she is separated from her husband. She's not divorced. She's separated.
Or they call it estranged.
Or estranged. Yeah,
They
she's
call it
estranged.
estranged
But you notice what they say? She's his estranged wife. They didn't say, oh, she's divorced. See, people know. That's why you have to have the understanding of the Torah before you just go and read everything else. We don't want to do things in order. The Bible says, let all things be done decently and in order. We don't understand an order. And if Yeshua went against the Torah, is that order? And also, when we read the Bible, we don't want to read from the Torah because we're told it's gone, it's put away, he fulfilled it. But the Bible says sin is transgression of what?
It's transgression of the law.
The law. Yes, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, and Yeshua already said in Matthew, what was it, 5:17? He said that he didn't come to destroy the law or the prophets.
Or the prophets.
So if he didn't come to destroy the law of the prophets, and that's what the law is saying, that a woman could go get remarried if she gets a bill of divorce and put out of his house, she can remarry. That's the law, and he didn't come to destroy that. So why would he speak and change it all of a sudden when he made it clear in the same chapter and the same in Matthew that he didn't come to do that?
Yeah, he didn't come. So, woman, if that man sends you out of his house with a bill of divorce, you may now go be another man's wife, like the Torah says. And we'll address the hardness of your heart that people like to throw in there too. We'll address that too. It's all in that Matthew 19. But you look behind what I just said. You look behind what the word says. It's raining. It's raining acorns out here.
Wow.
So verse 2, and when she's departed out of his house, she may go be another man's wife. And then it goes into more about if she becomes another man's wife and that man divorces her. There's a fly on my screen. You see that fly? That was a fly on my camera. If that man divorces her, if the second husband divorces her, she cannot go back to the first husband and be his husband again because she's defiled to him. That's defilement. Whether we believe it or not, whether we like it or not, it's defilement. That's what the word says. So, no. Because people ask the question, like when it says in Ecclesiasticus in Sirach 26, the 26th, the last verse, it says, give the wicked woman no liberty to that abroad. If she go not as thou wouldest have her, cut her off from thy flesh, give her a bill of divorce, and send her out of your house. See, they even make sure they hit on what Deuteronomy 24:1 was talking about. You give her a bill of divorce and send her out of your house. Sending her out of the house is putting away. But putting away is not divorce. Without the bill. You get the bill? Oh, I took the bill. Without the bill of divorce. Once again, to end it. Get out of my house. That's putting away. If she goes to be another man's wife, she's an adulterer because she's still married to me. Because she doesn't have a second witness to her being divorced. This divorce certificate was a protection for the daughters of Zion, for these game-playing Israelites who were dealing treacherously with them. It is not treacherous. It is not deceitful if I say, hey, I understand that in my doing this, you can go get remarried somewhere else. Here's your bill of divorce. Leave my house, please. Doses. That is not dealing treacherously with her. That is a biblical divorce. She now has a certificate. So that oh, you haven't. So that if Christopher came and said, "Hi, are you divorced or are you married?"
No, sir.
And somebody else can be like, she, I saw her with Chris. 6 months ago, she was with Chris. That's his wife. She can say what?
I am divorced.
Come closer so I can hear you. All right.
I am divorced, and here's my proof.
Let's see this.
My certificate to prove it.
She gone. That's what the divorce says. She gone. I'm done. Sign, Chris. Hey, she divorced. You in
She
this house?
gone?
You in, you in this house still?
No, no, sir.
Oh, so here's your bill of divorce saying, here's the second witness. You're the witness number one, witness number two, and you're not living in this house?
No, sir.
We out this spot. You get it now. The difference between putting away and divorce. With some, little animation in there also. I hope you understand what is being said.
Now.
Okay?
To be fair, a man that's smart though will probably question why she got divorced in the
Yes,
first place.
yes,
That's very, very important to me.
yes.
But if it's because a man was in the wrong, I guess, then
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, obviously as a man, you're going to question why you getting divorced. And be careful with the answer, man, because she'd be like, I don't know, he was just wicked. And the whole time, she'd be over there causing him hell. Or you could have an Abigail situation,
yes,
whether, let's say the man did not, let's say Nabal didn't die. And he put her away. It's like, get her, I'm going to put you away. Here's your bill of divorce, get out of my house, Abigail. I'm wicked. And, you trying to have me do things like keep the Sabbath. I ain't keeping no Sabbath. I'm eat pork all day long. All day long, give me that pork. If it's that sort of situation, and because she wants to live righteously, he's like, get out of my house. I'm sick and tired of you skirts. Wear them booty jeans. I want them booty jeans back. Wear them booty jeans. You be twerking and all that? I want that again. We used to go to the club. I want that again. We used to do that sort of stuff in that sin. Let's do that again. So you're going to have that. But all in all, I hope you understand what we're saying. I hope you understand the difference between putting away and divorce. In fact, in Deuteronomy 24:1, it actually kind of says putting away. He sends her out of his house. She departs. You remember the Greek 6:30. She departs. She leaves. She's gone. She's not part of it anymore. Yes. Uh, let me look at one more thing, just to end it. Um, in Malachi 2:16, we didn't look up the term putting away. It's the Hebrew 7971. Again, it means to send away, let go, stretch out. The Strongs, a primitive root to send away, for or out. Um, to push away, put out, send forth, shoot out. That's what it means. Thank you, Tootie. Okay. So that's what it means. So it means putting away. And I hope we have an understanding of that. I hope we understand that it means to putting away is to send out, to depart, all. That's what it means. I hope you have an understanding of that. I hope this is a blessing. For those of you who asked the question, because we're gonna put this together. And in reality, all of this is freeing for Israel, for the men and the women. Because men, well, you can't get remarried anymore. You can't divorce me. You can't get remarried. Oh, you're an adulterer. Bondage. Same thing happens with the woman. You can't get divorced. You can't, or you're an adulterer. You have a wicked man, just deal with it. Bondage. God didn't put us in bondage. He didn't create marriage for it to be a bondage. Now, through the hardness of our own heart, we got some other issues going on, which we will discuss. But it wasn't created to be a bondage. I hope that answers your question. Sister Steve? Well, we're out of here anyway, so I'll have a blessed Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.